Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. It's February the 10th, 2022. It's another Technical Alpha podcast. I hope you're ready for another great show, because as always, we got a good one lined up for you today. If it's your first time here, welcome. Thank you for stopping by, taking a chance on two old men yelling at clouds. We're not the only ones doing it, but not all of them are 2/3 of an Oreo. So, it's in the year 2022. That counts for something. Like I said, great show lined up. However, before we start, get the most important question of the week. Mr. Black, how's your week?
It's another week. That's it.
Incredible.
Yeah, nothing notable this week at all.
Spectacular.
Yep.
Yeah, I worked on the house. It was my week. Nothing else but that. In fact, I literally just got here from the house. Minutes before we booted this bad boy up. We were in the midst of prepping to put in some self-leveling floor cement for under the tub and in the washer-dryer stack, because those have to be level. And so, unfortunately, in that area of the house specifically, that is anything but level. That shit is fucking all over the place. They made the rookie mistake when they built the place very clearly. I mean, there's definitely some other shit going on there, but very clearly nobody ever taught the boys when they were doing the floor joist to see which way the boards were crowning before they put them in the fucking joist hangers. And so you got some of them that are crowned up and some of them that are crowned down. And so it looks like a fucking Six Flags amusement park roller coaster in a few spots in the floor. And in one area in particular, over by the walk-in closet, you could put in a small swimming pool if you tried hard enough. You seal that bad boy up and put some water in, and bada bing, bada boom, you get a $50,000 a month Twitch stream. It's just right off the rip.
Nice.
So as much as I would like to do that, we're gonna not. We're gonna level that bitch out, and so we were just getting things sorted for that, which is basically go out and find the cheapest silicone caulk you can find, and fucking just every seam in every area of the floor, every fucking nail head, and then of course where the floor meets the gyprock, you're just fucking pumping that shit full. So we were doing that, getting that prepped for that. Silicone caulk, yes, like a dildo. You just actually take a dildo and you rub it around on the ground liberally, and eventually all of the seams get filled, if you know what I'm saying. That's how that works. That's how that works. What's that guy that was it? What was his name? David? Was that random like short Asian dude that walked into the store? He would know.
David would know.
He knows all about the silicone caulk.
All about those large 12-inch silicone cocks.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, just spend more money, buy more shit, wait for it to show up at the house. It's basically been the week other than doing the work, and so we were prepping for HVAC and whatnot.
Welcome to the life of home ownership.
We did discover an interesting tidbit about this place, is that once you got over, so it's basically the same layout as Mom and Dad's place. So once you get over to where the kitchen wall meets the dining room wall, and we didn't find this out until we drilled a hole in the floor in between a wall cavity where we're going to run the HVAC exhaust, was that for whatever reasons that we can't quite figure out why, they changed the direction of the floor joist. So normally all the floor joists run in one direction. If you've never actually built a house or seen a house being built, they don't just fucking randomly decide which direction the floor joists run. They all go in one direction. Normally it's front to back, back of the house to front of the house. Which is the case in this place until you get to the dining room and living room area, at which point, randomly, they decided to run that shit in the opposite direction, where they're running lengthways of the house. And so when we decided it wasn't an add-on, no, the house has not been added on to. This is just, shit was just a weird decision. So we drilled down for it, we hit floor joist, Dad said, "Excuse me?" And then we looked at the ground, we pulled up like the underlay that, like that tiny, that super
little
thin,
sheet.
underlay for the click flooring that was there. Yeah, and we looked down, and sure as shit, we're looking at nails, and Dad was like, "Hold on, where is this shit running?" And so, we found that out. They're running the other way. Not that it means anything for the structural integrity of the house. It was just a bit of a curveball when you're trying to drill out your friggin' shit for your HVAC. They run into a floor joist. So we had some interesting times figuring out a way around that, but we got it sorted and continue to pick away at some stuff. And that was basically my week over at the house. Now it's time to talk about video game news. Mr. Black, you ready for some video game news?
I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
We're taking the Band-Aid off.
Okay.
We're ripping it off.
Let's
Nintendo news right off the rip. We're stripping that shit off. Get that out of the way. Nintendo had a Direct this week. It's always fun to see just how absolutely insane people get over these Directs. People were like, it was like a midnight release. People were 16 hours ahead at the YouTube page sitting there waiting for this Direct as if it was like some sort of first come, first serve, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 event. Where a guy can randomly interview people in the lineup at midnight. It was almost exactly like that, except waiting for the Nintendo Direct. Lots of people had guesses as to what was going on, and none of them were right, as usual. It's Nintendo, and there's some real bangers in here, Mr. Black.
Right.
So let's do the recap. This is courtesy of Nibel, and by the way, this podcast is 50% Nibel's Twitter feed. I just want to let you know that right now. That man condenses. That man condenses almost everything. Once in a while, I have to go out of my way to, find my info. But odds are, 9 times out of 10, Nibel's already got that done. So shoutouts to Nibel for making this shit happen. Nebellion. Shoutouts. So, first game that was in there was a Fire Emblem Warriors Three Hopes. Sorry, not Three Houses, but Three Hopes. It's a Fire Emblem game. It's like the 900th. If you like Fire Emblem, you'll probably want to play some of that. It looked okay. It looked like more Fire Emblem. Then we got something. I'll say this. There was a lot in this Direct, Mr. Black, for our age group. They were smashing the 30 to 40-year-old age group right out the park. All right?
Okay.
Let me explain why. First up, Advanced Wars 1 and 2 are coming to the Switch.
Advanced Wars.
They're pulling that shit out of the, what was that, DS? I can't remember how far back that goes now. Long time. Advanced Wars. Very popular, very good. Coming out of the vault like the Disney vault. Advanced Wars 1 and 2. It's a combined deal. It's coming April 8th, so not that far away. They even gave characters voices this time around, amongst a couple of other little additions. Something that is blowing my mind, and I almost want to buy it just to see how the fuck they did. Hello Games has managed to port No Man's Sky to the Switch. I'm not sure how it's going to run on the Switch. I know that it runs not great on even the most powerful computers in the fucking world. But, it has gotten better over time. But, I mean, it's still not the most, optimized game. So how they got it onto the Switch, I don't know. How many single frames that game's going to run? Don't know. But I'm very much interested in the breakdown that I'm sure maybe Digital Foundry will do when it launches this summer. Mario Strikers. Mr. Black, did you ever play Mario Strikers back in the day? The original, like, Mario Soccer, basically?
I have a copy, but I haven't played it.
Yeah, so they're doing a new one of those, and they're doing it pretty big. In fact, they have a Mario Strikers Battle League as part of the game, where it's 5v5 competitive gameplay. Items and special moves, of course. Gear system with impact on the stats. And up to 8 players with online clubs with rankings, and up to 20 players per club, I believe, is how that works. And so they're really going all in on something that they're never good at, online. So hopefully that actually, if you're playing in a league, you kind of need your connection to be stable. And if there's one thing that Nintendo Online is not, it's stable. So hopefully they can make that a little bit more for their Mario Strikers. Because you know what? It'd probably be dope. I mean, it'd probably be really good. Mario Strikers was a good game. This one looks also pretty neato. But all the same. Oh, and big news for this. Rosalina, you're going to see her standing on the ground for like the first time fucking ever because, she just floats everywhere. So, big news coming out of Nintendo Direct. Rosalina's feet on the ground. Splatoon 3. Bet you didn't think that was going to happen. Here we are. It's out. Not yet, but it's coming. More Splatoon. That's really big in Japan. Not as big over here, but fucking massive over in Japan. Then we got something, maybe this will ring a bell for you. Front Mission. The first. It's a remake coming for Front Mission. That's also on its way this summer with a sequel coming. So this is one of those remake a game to build up hype and or remind people that this franchise exists into a sequel in the future, which they don't have a date announced or anything for Front Mission. Disney Speedstorm was announced. It's a free-to-play cross-platform Disney Pixar kart racer. Why not? Star Wars The Force Unleashed, which is the Wii version for reasons nobody can fucking figure out, is coming to the Switch. Look, the Wii version. They're reaching back. The Wii is bordering... Mr. Black, what is the official cutoff time for console is retro? How many years? Is it 20?
I don't know. Yeah, probably 15, 20 years.
All right. We're getting close then. The Wii is getting there. We're almost pulling up retro versions of Force Unleashed to be put on there for the Switch. Assassin's Creed, the Ezio Collection, coming February 17th. For those of you that haven't already played everything Assassin's Creed, I'm sure it's going to sell a bajillion copies on the Switch, though, because there's 100 million plus of those things floating around. SD Gundam Battle Alliance was also announced. Chrono Cross Remaster, Mr. Black. So this was also part of the, this Chrono Cross Remaster was part of that NVIDIA, game streaming service leak that happened not too long ago. And this is the next one that was on that list that it seems like that list that got leaked is just right. So at this point, we've had so many come out on that list that turned out to be right. It's safe to assume that everything on that list is likely to be okay. Unfortunately, for those that like Chrono Cross, and it's kind of like a 50-50 split I've learned over time for those who like Chrono Cross versus Chrono Trigger, they're giving it the good old-fashioned Square Enix barely give a fuck treatment for this remaster. So don't get your hopes up too much for Chrono Cross as far as the remaster goes. It kind of looks like the other half-hearted remasters that Square Enix has done in the past for some of their other games. Yeah, so if you're going to play Chrono Cross, if you have the game sitting around, if you can, emulate that bitch, upscale it, and it's going to look 1,000 times better than whatever the fuck Square Enix is doing. And since you already own it, you won't have to pay. So just stick to it that way. Next up, we had a game out of Kirby where I don't even know what is this. It's called Mouthful Mode. I don't know if, is that the name of the fucking game? It might be Mouthful Mode. And if that's the case, then there's an awful lot of fucking sex jokes to be had right there. And you know who would know a lot about that? Old Davy Boy. Davy Boy knows all about Mouthful Mode and all those silicon cocks. But Kirby shown swallowing an entire ass car at one point, as well as a pylon, an orange pylon, which of course immediately meant that everyone that uses VLC wanted to swap that out for their icon on their desktop. Kirby swallowing the VLC pylon icon. Yeah, it's a Kirby game. I don't even know anymore, bro. Nintendo just does shit. It's like, does it sound fun-ish? Yeah? Okay, make it. What if we just had Kirby Deep Throat everything? Yeah! We can't call it Kirby Deep Throats everything. What could we call it? Mouthful Mode. We're in. Greenlight it. Make it happen. MLB The Show 2022 coming to the Switch. That's huge because MLB sells a shitload of copies. Klonoa. Do you have old school Klonoa sitting around in that giant shelf behind you?
So. I don't think so.
Well, we're getting more Klonoa, Mr. Black. 1 and 2. It's coming to the Switch on July 8th. Portal Companion Collection, that's just the Portal Collection in general, is coming to the Switch as well. Live Alive Remake HD 2D. It's that Octopath Traveler style graphics. This is a really kind of esoteric fucking pull out of the vault for Nintendo. This was a Japanese only release. That a handful of people in our age bracket that was like the special kind of gamer that imported shit from Japan would know about, and then everyone else is just saying, the fuck is this shit? However, apparently a lot of people are quite excited about it, and that 2D, 3D look, I can't lie. I love seeing it every time I see it. Maybe I'll pick this bad boy up. I don't even know what the fuck it's about. but a lot of people that have played it were quite excited about it, so it's got to mean something to somebody. Also, Mr. Black, you know what we haven't had? A new Nintendo Sports title, and here it is. Nintendo Switch Sports. There's no more Mii's. They yeeted the Mii's out of there. And they replaced them with a bunch of smooth, polygonal characters that look a little bit less nightmare fuel than the Mii's did. In there, you're going to get such hits as tennis, bowling, Chambara. Oh, do you know what that is? Because I don't.
No idea.
Soccer, badminton, volleyball, and I think they're adding golf at some point, if I'm not mistaken. Let me keep this train going here. Yes, golf will be added via a free update later this year. So, with online playtest announced as well on the 18th of February. So, the sports titles are going into the live environment. So, if you want to get your Chambara on online for whatever the fuck Chambara is, you can do it. And you can do it online in the not too distant future. I'm kind of excited for the golf thing. I'm a sucker for golf games, so hopefully it doesn't suck balls. Taiko no Tatsujin. I can't pronounce Japanese, let's be honest. Rhythm Festival. I do know of this game, though, in terms of having seen it before. Coming to the Switch this year as well. Triangle Strategy got a little showing. We already talked about that. That's like an old school type game. It's a new game, but a throwback. Cuphead, The Delicious Last Course also coming to the Switch. Metroid Dread is getting a free update. Earthbound coming to Nintendo Switch Online. That is the game that everyone's wanted a sequel to, but or 3, I guess, or 4. What is it at? What did it be? Mother 4 or Mother 3? Do you know?
I have no idea, bro.
I think you got Earthbound back there somewhere.
I have one Earthbound. I didn't even know there was more than one.
Yeah, I think there's a couple.
Oh.
Anyway, it's the OG, and it's coming to Nintendo Switch Online later today. Oh, that's on there then. That was because this was yesterday. Now here's the biggest meme of all memes, Mr. Black. This is I fucking laughed so hard when I saw this. So, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is the updated version of Mario Kart 8, which is, to my recollection, nearly 10 years old now. That shit has been around several times at this point. Everyone was waiting. Please, God, tell me we're going to get a Mario Kart 9 at this Nintendo Direct. The answer is no. You know what you're getting? A massive slew of downloadable content for a nearly decade-old game. Let's go. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is getting a whole bunch of fucking new tracks and shit over the course of, I think there's a period of time. They got like payment plans and shit fucking all over I think it's like another 48 tracks being added to this bitch, which I think is more than the game launched with at this point. I think some of them are being ported over from the Mario Kart mobile game, and some of them are remastered versions of older courses. Yes, 48 additional courses will be released in waves until the end of 2023. The first wave is coming March 18th, and this is also a part of the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack system. So if you're on that whole thing, this is one of the ways they're sweetening the pot on that, is, hey, get Mario Kart tracks, bro. There's a lot of them, and people have been looking at pictures and stuff that they posted. I mean, it is what it is. Some of them definitely look like they were just stripped right off of the mobile version. They don't look nearly as good as the tracks that came with the game to begin with. Some people are happy about it. Some people aren't particularly thrilled, and they just wanted to have a proper new Mario Kart at this point. And I don't blame them. Shit's been almost 10 years. Pulling this out and saying 48 new tracks for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe seems a bit superfluous to me, but you know what? Since they sold, as we talked about the other day, something like 48 million copies of this game, this seems like a really good way for them to make even more money than if they had just released Mario Kart 9. So this is how you're getting it, one way or the other. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe will live forever. Then we saw Xenoblade Chronicles 3. That's a video game that runs at 5 FPS. And that was the show. That was direct. We did it. You survived, Mr. Black. We got through Nintendo.
God, there's actually not one thing I give a fuck about. Not one.
Not even Chambara in Switch Sports?
No. So news is so that Nintendo news is so incredibly uninspiring and boring and just the same regurgitated fucking shit.
It was so funny to see online how many people were like excited about this direct because a bunch of the remastered or re-released games were like, oh, nostalgia childhood, and then the other half was like, what the actual fuck is this?
Yeah, it ain't for me, I'll tell you that. So
it ain't for me either, really. There wasn't really a hell of a lot. I know I'm a little excited about Chambara Online. Everything else, not so much. I don't know what to think of it. It's the end of an era this week, Mr. Black, as Sega has officially left the Japanese arcade business. Having been a major player in the market since the 60s, the pandemic hit the arcade market hard, of course, which forced them to sell over 80% of their business earlier during the pandemic. But as the arcade industry continues to struggle, they have decided to sell off the rest of their arcade business and are leaving entirely. They sold the first 80% and this back portion to the same company. I can't remember the name of the company off the top of my head. Either way, they're dipping out of the business and sticking to the video games in the console and PC market. So yeah, bit of an end of an era. And they were closing things down, I think, as well earlier this year for like the Sega store and stuff in parts of Tokyo. I don't know if it was in Akihabara or not, but either way, Sega is paring things down. Paring things down so they can focus on what really matters. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie. Despite a hike of 57% in net profit in 2021 alone, Mr. Black, which brought home a cool, clear of expenses, $33.4 billion. Amazon is increasing the cost of Prime from $119 to $139 USD per year, citing increased benefits and rising costs.
I mean, that's what happens when you spend $500 million on a Lord of the Rings show, and they know it's coming, and everyone's going to start buying Amazon Prime. So
this is where you make your extra money when they're coming in.
So where it just makes sense.
Otherwise, they'd only have $29.9 billion. Actually, no. Wait, no. Those are in billions. They'd have $32.9 billion left, and they wouldn't be able to extort everyone. It is silly though, because Twitch, I almost said Twitch Prime. Amazon Prime hasn't really added anything of like major value since they did like the video service. So yeah. Anyway,
I mean, that's a pretty big value. I mean, there's a lot of shit that's going up on Amazon. I've been watching that more and more lately, and
I've been using it specifically for The Expanse.
Yeah.
It's not to say that they don't have good things on Prime Video, because they do. There's
some solid shit on there.
I'm just wondering where the ceiling for Amazon Prime is, because we're hitting we're like another year or two. We're going to be at $200 Canadian a year, just for Prime. We're just it's starting to get a bit steep. And a scandal nobody likes to ever that nobody likely ever thinks about, Mr. Black, the best Guitar Hero player in the world. Do you know who that is?
Don't know.
Nobody does. In the World came out this week to say that he was in fact cheating in many of his record-setting videos. His name is Shmooey, I believe is how that is pronounced. Got some fire in December after somebody noticed the notes weren't lining up with what he was in fact playing on the guitar. This led to his eventual admission recently. This wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for the fact that he took bounties from his community for money to complete many of these challenges in which he was cheating. He said he was paid, that he has paid all the bounties back. We'll take him at his word, I guess, for that for now. Deleted all of his videos on YouTube and posted a spreadsheet showing which videos were fake and which were real. Though he admits he understands few people will recognize the legitimate records after all of this has happened. And there you go. Just like the guy, who was the guy, what was it, there was a big scandal, you probably wouldn't know this, but there was like a big scandal over, I want to say it was it Tetris? The guy that had like the Tetris record or whatever, and there was like a whole fucking documentary about that shit. But yeah, this is the big one.
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero, the one that everyone cares about.
Fake it till you make it.
How good can you play through the fire and flames, Mr. Black?
I'm not bad at that game.
I was fucking abysmal, bro. I was abysmal. It's like when I got Rock Band, exclusively drums. I could not do the guitar for my life. Absolutely abysmal at it. In other things people never think about, Google Stadia is on its way out and being sold off for its tech under the name Google Stream. Insiders have reported that Stadia has been deprioritized at Google, not that this wasn't already apparent. So you guys can go back to not thinking about Google Stadia anymore. You're okay. You can do that now. Go back to it. In a statement that definitely reads worse than it needed to, Platinum Games president told Famitsu that they will now focus on games that, and this is a quote translated, can be enjoyed and loved for a longer period of time instead, and this is out of the end quote, instead of its usual, quote, one-off, well-designed titles. That read a little strange to me. I don't think I've ever seen a developer or a president for a video game company come out and say, you know what, guys, we're throwing in the towel. We are no longer going to make well-designed video games. We're going to move into something that is no longer well-designed. It's a bit of an odd thing. I have to suspect that some of that is translation. But all the same, it read kind of funny to me. So basically what they're saying is, and if you read more in the interview, is he's talking about how they are going to move Platinum Games into live service. Woo! Yeah! More live service! Yeah! Yes! Give me more games that you just have to devote your entire existence to enjoy even a small amount! Yes! More! Bayonetta live service game coming soon! Oh, by the way, speaking of live service games, Battlefield 2042, Mr. Black, very important update today. You can now unlock a tactical beanie.
Wow.
Don't miss it.
I will. I will.
Related to this, Platinum Games made an appeal of sorts to Microsoft's Phil Spencer this week, saying that they'd like to make the long-canceled Scalebound finally happen. Do you remember that game, Mr. Black? Scalebound. That was the one that had, like, dinosaurs and shit, and the main character in the trailers had, like, headphones on and was constantly listening to fucking crazy-ass music.
Yes, I remember that.
That got caught in, like, development hell for, like, fucking ever, and then Microsoft eventually said, you know what, guys? This ain't it. We're done burning money over there. So anyway, Platinum Games, after announcing that they no longer want to make quote-unquote well-developed games, is now pleading with Phil Spencer, who is, from their position, just throwing money around like crazy right now, to bring that out of the vault and try and finish it up. Which really, I have to say, pretty much anyone else under the Microsoft title at this point would be able to develop that game better than Platinum Games, if I had to take a wild guess. So, unlikely to happen, but you never know. Maybe Phil feeling a little philanthropic. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of Phil Spencer was nominated at the DICE Awards this week as for a Lifetime Achievement Award in the video game segment. An award that has previously gone to some other pretty big and fancy folks. I want to say Reggie. My Body is Reggie from Nintendo of America may or may not have also pulled that award down. And relatively well-deserved, honestly. Phil Spencer's done a hell of a lot to turn the Xbox brand around in the last several years and continues to do a good job of it. So I guess good for you, Philly. Godspeed. Microsoft continues to, speaking of Microsoft, they continue to clarify their position on the exclusivity of Activision Blizzard titles this week, where they've now said that their plan is, in fact, to continue to provide the games on PlayStation and other platforms like the Switch and others, even after the contractual obligations have run out. Lots of people have been speculating endlessly over whether or not, after spending $70 billion, Microsoft would lock up, for example, Call of Duty to the PC and the Xbox, but that does not seem to be their plan. For how long and with what, if any, caveats, though, we'll have to maybe wait and see. So in terms of, like, and you and I talked about this before, our thoughts were that perhaps it's not going to be locked to the Xbox and PC, but timed exclusives of certain, events or items or things of that nature, more likely to have something like that. But yeah, there is a certain line where if you were to lock that shit up, you're never going to make your $70 billion back. You gotta let Call of Duty ride free, bro. You can't lock that bitch up. then you're just burning money. So, however, will that last forever? I don't fucking know. However, for now, that's where they stand, and they've made as public about it. I think they have like 3 different employees talking about that now, publicly. So that should be the give you an idea of where they stand there. And finally, Mr. Black, in video game news, one that I'm sure your great-grandchildren are already excited about. If you haven't already become a shareholder, or you are a shareholder that doesn't actually know anything about video games, Rockstar Games, this is for you. They said, hey, if you're a shareholder for us, and you need to know, because you didn't assume so already, Grand Theft Auto 6 is indeed in development, Mr. Black. It is begun over at Rockstar Games. It's coming.
It's probably been in the works for a long time already, I would imagine.
But they decided they needed to tell the world, like, hey, it's coming. Enjoy it, shareholders.
In what, 2027?
That's what I'm saying. Your great-grandchildren going to be super fucking excited about that shit.
It won't be anytime soon.
I think as soon as they announced GTA 6, their stock price jumped like 5% that day. So that's who it's for. It's for the people that don't really follow the games industry enough to know, but they're invested in it anyway because the stock tracked well over time. So like, oh yeah, oh wonderful. Really? Another Grand Theft Auto? Oh, it's made how much money for GTA Online? Oh yeah, really? And 6 is coming now. Great. Buy more. And that's all I got, Mr. Black. That was video game news for this week, which means it's time for you to wake up and sell out.
Patreon.com/LegTV. Head on over there. Throw some money at the damn screen. If you can't afford to, that's okay. That's okay. Just share
it's not okay.
Around.
Sell your body. I need the money right now.
Okay, you know what? If you don't have it,
get it.
There any means necessary.
Any means necessary.
Any means necessary.
I am giving you
that Rockstar fucking stock and throw it at the screen here because you made some extra money on the announcement. That's great. Adam needs it. All right. I could use it. You know, I'm not as maybe as dire as Adam is right now in the middle of his renovations, but I won't complain. Patreon.com/LegTV. You get some perks, you know, eventually. Just like Rockstar 2026, 2027.
We're announcing right now that in the not too distant and possibly distant future, you're finally going to get your posters, pins, and other memorabilia. It's going to happen.
Eventually.
It's happening.
Usually there's about a 2-year period in between when we do shipping out. Sometimes it's 3 years. So head on over to patreon.com/LegTV. Also, if you want to support the podcast, go to NordVPN, NordVPN.com/OTT. Use the promo code OTT and get yourself a NordVPN subscription. When you get a 2-year subscription, you get a massive discount, a bonus month. You get to stay safe, stay anonymous on the internet. You can hook it up to your router, your smart TV, your phones, your computers, your Mac, whatever. They've got an app for you. The servers are super fast. You can game on them, stream on them, game and stream on them at the same time. Hey, eventually in the future, you know Game Pass is going to be regional. You know, there's going to be some licensing issues, which means NordVPN, mask your IP, have access to different games. Shit, you can do that now. You want to play on different regions of games? Use NordVPN. You want to stay safe, want to stay anonymous, you don't want to use public Wi-Fi servers and whatnot to have your data stolen. All right, it's 2022. There's cyber predators out there looking to grab your information, take your nude photos off your phone, all of those things. All you need is NordVPN. And hey, you support the podcast, you support the sponsor for supporting the podcast, and you support yourself.
That's right.
NordVPN. You get up to 6 simultaneous devices per account. So you only need 1 account per household. 2 if you're a small Filipino family. And hey, at the price
There's no such thing as a small Filipino family.
That was the joke. All right, that's why I said you need 2 subscriptions, which is about 12 individuals.
It's 12 people. Yeah.
All right. See, look, he fucked up my joke, and now
I'm sorry. My apologies.
God dang.
I fucked it all up.
You messed it. Listen, just go get NordVPN.
Do Do it now!
All right, it's like it's a less than the price of a grande cinnamon dolce latte at Starbucks a month, man. Damn.
Man.
All right, that's it. That's enough.
It's time for
Movies and TV.
Obi-Wan. That's a series, Mr. Black, and now we know it's arriving May the 25th, which is, as far as I'm concerned, bullshit that it's not May the 4th.
It'll be May the 4th, man.
How do they fuck that up?
They missed an opportunity.
Unacceptable. It chronicles much of what was apparently referenced in Obi-Wan's journals, or would have been referenced in Obi-Wan's journals. I don't really care what it's about. We're just getting Ewan McGregor back as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and so I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be better than, as you might have discovered yesterday, it's going to be better than Book of Boba Fett, which, if you haven't figured this out, and this is no spoilers, is really just filler for another Star Wars show.
Yeah, I'm on episode 4 now, and it's pretty fucking whack so far. I hear it gets better, but we'll see. Usually getting better in the Star Wars world is like, hey, we got to see an old character in the last episode. It gets better.
You know that's definitely gonna happen.
Oh, for sure.
Fuck, you know what Star Wars really is? It's an elaborate space opera version of Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it.
Fuck, we got another Star Wars! Where's Mark Hamill? He died 30 years ago. Fuck it! CGI!
Bring him back.
Bring him back!
Bring back Harrison Ford, too.
The power of
just bring them all back, man.
artificial intelligence.
Who the fuck asked for a Boba Fett show? I mean, and who asked for this, man? The fucker should have stayed dead, man.
It could have been so much better though. They had all that opportunity to like flesh out Boba Fett as a good character, and in fact, instead we just got whatever the wet fart shit that was. So anyway, you can finish it and let me know your thoughts when you guys
I'm sure
work your way through.
We'll be done by next Thursday. So
all right, there you go. Yeah. Production company Village Roadshow. I'm sure you've seen this pop up in your feed, given you're into the whole movies deal. Village Roadshow is suing Warner Brothers over mismanagement of The Matrix Resurrections release, citing the damage done releasing it to HBO while it was still in theaters. And they claim that Warner Brothers has damaged the entire franchise by doing this, making future Matrix spin-offs on the big and small screen less palatable to investors. Which, whether it was their intention or not, is probably not hideously incorrect. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a little weird because HBO Max announced a year before the movie came out that it was going direct. And Village Roadshow knew about this like a year before. Apparently they're in the hole for $200 million or something from how this movie performed. And so they're trying to sue Warner Brothers for this so that they don't have to pay money back or whatever. There's this big fucking shit show going. Nobody would be getting sued if The Matrix was actually good and it made money. It lost a fuck ton of money. Shitloads of money. So not only did it lose the money, it actually it lost fans, it lost its credibility, it lost virtually everything.
Which is, I think, what Village is leaning on here is that by being as bad as it was, and I don't think it was how it was released is the problem here. It was just the movie sucked balls.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah, and we mentioned this before when we were both ranting about it, this has been nuked from orbit now. Nobody is going to want to touch this fucking intellectual property. Resurrection made a depressing $37 million in the US and just crawled across the $153 million mark worldwide for a Matrix film.
That's bad. That's really bad. The movie
I think the budget was $190.
Was that? I wouldn't even be surprised if it was more.
Without the marketing budget, of course, but yeah, like I think they said in the article that I was reading.
190 million, then add another $200 million in marketing, if not more.
They went balls deep on marketing that movie.
Yeah, if not more. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if they're all in for $500 to $600 million on this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And they are woefully far off the mark.
Yeah.
So yes, I don't. Does Village have a leg to stand on here? Probably not, because of the reasons that they're saying that it's happening. It was just a really shitty movie. It's kind of just the reality of it. But we'll see what spins out of that whole deal. Continuing the trend of rumored or confirmed video game movies for video games to movie or series transitions, Ruben Fleischer. I don't know how to pronounce his last name there exactly. The director for the Uncharted movie is seemingly in talks with PlayStation to adapt Jak and Daxter for either TV or film. He's interested in doing that and is currently talking with Sony to try and make that happen. Jak and Daxter is like one of those games where... is that big enough to want to do a series or a movie? Like,
it was
Jak
pretty big. I think it was pretty big.
It's not small. It's just like I'll put it this way, because maybe this is why I feel this way. I never played it, nor do I know anyone else
they got
that
a bunch
played
of games. Like, I got a bunch of them.
They've made a ton of Jak and Daxter games.
They look fun, but yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I always confuse Ratchet and Clank with Jak and Daxter.
Jak and Dax.
Yeah. And the final one, and this was a today happening. I don't know if you've seen it yet. Jurassic World Dominion trailer popped up. The old crew is back, meaning Ellie and Alan. Their actors and actress are the actor and actress are back, as well as, of course, Jeff Goldblum, because you can't have one without Jeff Goldblum now. For the wrap up of this story arc for the franchise, so they're like, "This is the last one, guys." And they just have like a bunch of scenes where it's like, and you know what though? The two of them, they aged like gods. Both of them aged incredibly well. And so yeah, there you go. I'll be slightly more interested in this one just for the sake of nostalgia. It's not the other ones were terrible movies, but I was falling asleep at the last two. The whole arc with the super smart Velociraptor thing. Stop the madness. It's fucking terrible.
I don't mind the Jurassic World movies. They're not bad. They're fine. Like, you go to the theater, watch it on the biggest screen possible on IMAX, and get some dinosaur jumps and whatnot. So I'm there for this movie. I'll check it out.
I do enjoy that they've at least seemingly done as much animatronic stuff as they can get away with, because it does, even though you know it's animatronic, for whatever reason, to my mind anyway, oftentimes it looks better than when they're trying to do, just straight CGI. And probably cheaper, which is a weird, like, you wouldn't think that it'd be cheaper, but then you find out how much it costs to model and animate some shit. And you start gluing together, plaster pretty quick to try and make up a fucking model. That's all I got for movies and TV. Like I said, this week, so Em and I were watching The Expanse. I had started it a long time ago and then had dropped it, but I went back to it, and we started watching it together. We've been enjoying that. We're 3 seasons and change deep.
Yeah, we started watching that too, and I think we got into season... maybe 2, maybe 3, and we just stopped. It was just like, it's a show that it's bingeable until it's not. Like, it's like a show that we watch so much of it, and then it's one of these shows that it just kind of feels like I'm watching the same shit over and over and over again, and then it just gets old. It's like an arc ends and then a new one starts, and it's pretty much the same arc, and then it ends, and then I'm just like, okay, I can't handle any more of this. That's pretty much why we stopped watching. It's just
I would say that was my experience when I watched it too. With the first time when I put it down, that was about what I felt. I was like, I feel like I'm watching the same episode over and over again. I think the problem was that they and it continues to be the case from where we are now. I'm enjoying it. It's not to say that I'm not enjoying it. I think it's a really good show, but it's like they did this show in like seasons that had like 13 episodes or some shit, and it could have been maybe 10. And so you get this repetitious feeling sometimes, or you feel like they're taking too long to get through something. But I've been enjoying it. It's basically Mass Effect, the TV show.
Yeah.
Like, for God's sake, they've even got one of the voice actors, or actresses, I should say, as a main character in this bitch that's from Mass Effect. And the characters themselves are basically Mass Effect characters. Now, I think I'm pretty sure The Expanse is based on books, and if I had to take a guess, the books may or may not predate Mass Effect, more than likely. So it's a good chance that Mass Effect is just heavily influenced by The Expanse. But either way, yeah, we've been enjoying ourselves with that for the most part. What I like about it is that they do just enough of the science right that it makes everything feel believable. Like in 300 years, that could be where we're at, kind of deal, and how everything is working. It all kind of makes sense. And so yeah, I've just been enjoying that. Other than that, there hasn't really been any new movies or anything that popped up that we've been able to watch. So that's it. What about you guys? Nothing else? You guys didn't watch anything else?
We started watching Boba Fett. We finished Archive 81.
We watched that too.
Oh shit, you guys are binging hard.
Yes, watch that too.
What
Well,
did
like
you think?
after I get home from being at the house or whatever, we have I have like 3 hours before bed. And so we're just plowing through friggin' shows. So how did you feel about Archive?
It was good. I mean, we liked it. It was different. It was, it was
James Wan.
Yeah. And I don't think he directed it. I think he's a producer.
He's a producer.
Yeah, producer.
It still felt James Wan-y.
Yeah. No, it was good. I enjoyed it. I give it like an 8 out of 10. Like 7.5, 8, right around there. Can't go higher than that, but it was fun. It was like it was different, but it was different enough. It was sort of the same of what I've seen before, but it was a nice twist. Like,
yeah,
it was different. You had to use my brain a few times, like trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, and then it started clicking, and I was like, okay, yeah, all right, I fucks with this. Wasn't like scary. It wasn't like a horror, but it was like a mystery thriller. Small horror elements to it. Very culty, your standard cult like.
Yeah, cult like shit. It
was
was like a good combo of like, there are multiple bad actors and they're working cross purpose with one another, and so as a viewer, and then like the protagonists are caught in between that. Yeah. And so as a viewer, there's so many times when it's written that way, it's harder to really accurately guess at what's going on because you've got bad actors coming at both directions for the protagonist, and so some things feel like a red herring where you're like, oh, they're just fucking with me, but no, because the bad guys aren't necessarily working together in this instance, and so you get thrown for a loop, which is nice because it just means you're not guessing your way all the way through the series, and you can be caught off guard. How did you feel about the ending? Because I thought it was kind of a blue balls.
Yeah, it was kind of like they were setting it up for another season.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So. Do you have
any theories? Because I have theories.
Well, I do, but I don't know if I want to, say too much. Because
we could just say, "Hey, spoiler alert."
Yeah.
I'll say it. Hey, spoiler alert. Archive 81.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Well, I mean, I think the season 2 is going to be them trying to get back to him type thing.
Okay. Or him back to them.
Back to them, yeah. Or him back to them.
So my great theory is that, and so this will be spoilery, but in a way that, like, I'm not going to, like, pull names and stuff out of the hat for this. But, in the very end there, when they go into the other side, and he finds her, right? And they're working their way out, and she sees, you know, Predator, basically. Mm-hmm. Right? What dawned on me is that they're supposed to already be in his domain, right? But she was still only seeing him, the Predator, in the mirror and not just out in the room, despite the fact that they were already supposed to be in his domain. Which, in my mind, makes me think that he, when they did the ritual and when she originally passed through, because if you track, like, how all of the failures, like, over time of them trying to open the portal, and they got a little bit closer to getting the right combo of shit to happen, they needed one of her kind to be alive for that to happen. So when that happened that time and she went in, I think that Predator motherfucker actually, she's the vessel, because they thought on the outside that the one that they were killing was the vessel.
Yeah.
Because of the way that the ritual went. And they were like, oh, you're the vessel. They're going to take on this. I don't think that's the case. I think that the reason why it didn't open in the first place because they didn't have that right witch or whatever being there. She's the vessel, and that's why she's seeing him in the mirror even though they're in his domain. And why that guy pulled her through at the end, because the goal was to get him into the real world. Right? And left the other guy behind. And when he left, in that hallway, there were two doors, right? One, and when they went in, her mother said, listen, you're going to listen for this tone specifically. They had the tuning fork, right? This is the tone. Follow that. There were two tones happening. The tone of the tuning fork that the people in 1994 had, and her tuning fork. He went through the other door. He's in 1994 because that ritual is technically bridging time, and it's happening simultaneously. So he pulled her through the door into modern times, 2019, and he went back to 1994. So he is legit time traveled. He's not in the other side. He legit fucking time traveled because the hospital girl talks about having him be the only survivor of the Vesser.
That's right.
And so he actually did dead-ass travel time.
It makes sense. We'll find out on season 2.
Season 2!
They got to greenlight it, though.
I have to imagine. It's been in, like, the top 10 for a while.
Yeah, it's done really well, so I'm sure we'll see it.
Yeah. But no, I thought it was really well done in general. I thought the writing was good. I thought the acting was good by pretty much everyone. The little girl did a really good job. Like that, I can't remember the character's name off the top of my head. But no, everyone did a really good job. And despite the fact that, am I crazy, or is the whole mold causing the haunting thing one of the arcs for the Haunting of Hill House series?
Mold? I don't think it was.
Didn't they say that the mold was, like, making all this shit happen? Like,
there was another show. I don't know if it was Haunting. Was it? You know what? I think it was Haunting of Hill House.
I think it was, wasn't it?
I think it was Haunting of Hill House.
Because when I watched it and they said mold, my brain went, wait a minute, this sounds...
because there was that room too, right? There was like a room,
yes,
and it was very moldy.
It was the first season.
Yeah, okay, yes. I think you're right. Yeah, it's very similar. Very, like, concept, yeah.
How fucking wild would it be if they were like fucking crossing universes?
You never know.
Wait, was Haunting James Wan?
No.
Who was it? Who was Haunting Hill House?
I forget his name. He started to make. He was like relatively unknown until
that happened.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up.
Fuck. There you go. Cross universe.
Yeah, but
Haunting
it was good.
of Hill House.
Yeah, we enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thumbs up.
It was fine. Yeah.
Thumbs up for sure.
And it was like just enough episodes. I think it was like 8 episodes, something like that.
Yeah, it's in that pocket somewhere. That seems to be
it was 10. It was 10 episodes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Wait, was it?
No, I think it's 10. I think it's 8.
I think it was 8. Yeah, it was 8. Yeah.
That seems to be the gist of Netflix stuff, is like when they do a series, it's like 8 episodes seems to be where they fall most of the time.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's what we watched. now we're watching Boba Fett, and after that, I'm not sure. We might end up watching the Marvel, the fucking Hawkeye
Oh.
shit.
Oh. Are you gonna watch Peacemaker or whatever that one is?
Oh yeah, that's right. Maybe I'll watch that next.
Yeah, because that I've heard better.
I hear it's
better
really
things
fucking good. Yeah,
versus Hawkeye.
Really good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's it.
Beautiful. Which means it's time for
tech support.
Patreon.com/LagTV is the place to go if you want to financially support this podcast, keep the wheels moving, and keep the heat in my new house on. If we even get so far as to install heaters, $10 more each month allows you to get a couple things. Chiefly, you can ask us questions each and every week on a post I put up on Patreon called Tech Support. We answer as many of them as we can with the time that we have. And get down to it. This week, what do we got? Super Commie Guru, best and worst kinds of pie.
Best kind, apple pie.
Okay.
Worst kind, lemon meringue.
Lemon meringue?
Meringue.
How do you not like lemon meringue pie? That's heresy. That shit's dope.
It's nasty.
Oh, bro.
Too jelly, gross, nasty.
Okay. Best kind of pie? Man, that's tough. Apple is up there.
Man, apple's number one. There ain't no pie better than a warm slice of apple pie with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. It just doesn't...
I'm biased because I grew up with my grandmother making blueberry pie, and it was pretty fucking dope.
I find blueberry pie a little too rich. Like, I'll eat it and it's enjoyable, but apple pie, it's like you can eat it whenever. I got to be in the mood for blueberry pie.
It's true. I also eat an unimaginable amount of pumpkin pie, but I think
it's nasty too.
I think, yeah, man. You know what else is really good? Ranks high for me though. Strawberry rhubarb.
Oh my God.
Worst kinds of pie though.
Doesn't sound like you hate any pie, Adam.
I mean, let's be real. It's pie. I mean, I'm gonna fucking eat some pie. This is like pizza. It's like I might not personally buy it, but if it's free pie, I'm likely to eat that pie. It's gonna happen. Worst kinds of pie. Not a big fan of any of raspberry. Because unless they go through the effort of straining the seeds out and shit, and it's just not a flavor that I think works as a standalone for pie. So not a big fan of that. Similar to blackberry. Man, pie that I can only do in very small amounts, but still kind of like it is like key lime pie. That's super friggin' powerful flavor that you can only eat so much of it, and pecan pie is incredibly rich because pecan pie is really just a giant butter tart. Yeah. That's all it is. Which, don't get me wrong, I'll fucking eat 6 butter tarts right now. But for some reason, if you put it in pie form, I look at it and my body goes, bro,
nah,
you can't do that. Let's be realistic. Seth asks, Jeff, what's the final diaper count now that he's out of them?
He's not out of them.
Oh, okay.
Kai still wears diapers.
What's the updated diaper count?
It's still the same as before. I haven't changed one diaper since the last
time.
time.
There's not been one emergency situation in which you've had to change diaper?
No.
Damn, you've done well.
Yeah, I might have changed maybe 10 diapers in all of fatherhood so far. Maybe.
Volkus asks, any power outage stories from last weekend? I was without power from Friday until late Saturday night, but I have an inverter for my car to power limited stuff in my apartment and a vast library of books to read. That's a method of powering stuff in your house I haven't heard before, using your car's inverter. Out here, we didn't lose power, which is rare because our power's been fucking terrible as of late. And anything, you sneeze on the power line, the power fucking go out here. So the fact that we didn't was surprising. Now, mind you, it was much later into the next day before we got freezing rain, whereas other parts of the province got fucking mangled, and then we eventually got ours too, but it wasn't like, I mean, Middle Sackville had like an inch of fucking freezing rain on the trees. Like it's pictures where trees are just literally kissing the ground because there was so much ice. And a lot of people had no power all the way up until we had the rainstorm following that, and they still didn't have power, and then they got even less power. So no, we got a little bit lucky out here. Did you guys lose yours during
power.
that?
Yeah, we lost power several times. It was on off. But we have a house generator, so
yeah,
it doesn't really affect us.
You get the big boy.
Yeah,
how often do you swap? Because it's gas. Is that gas powered?
Propane.
That big propane? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because with the amount of times that you use it, you'd have to be siphoning out and replacing the gas every so often because it would lose its octane.
3 big ass propane tanks. One of them's almost gone now. There's still 2 other full big ass propane tanks. So I think from the 3 of them, they said it could be up to 2 weeks of power outage.
Continuous.
Yeah, before, and we get everything. So our internet runs on a different power line. So
yeah,
internet still works. Everything works. The only thing that's not hooked up is the oven. For whatever reason, the oven's not connected. The pool's not connected, in the hot tub. They're all in different breakers. Everything else works fine. Fridge, freezers.
That's so random. The oven's
it's the way they set it up.
On.
I could get an electrician to move the oven panel onto where the generator panel is. But we just
well, there you go.
Whatever.
99% of the household powered.
Yeah.
Powered. Yeah, I was just very surprised that we didn't lose it because like anything fucking knocks our power out here these days. And a lot of that's because they've had so much new construction up here that the power grid is getting like way more drained out of it out this end of the fucking city now. And so anything. And it's like the water mains too. They're like they put so many new places with new water coming off the main, and the mains are all old as shit. They're original all the way out here, and so like they just like a water main goes every 3 fucking days here. It just blows a hole in the road, and then we get like people have no water for like fucking 24 hours because everything's just being overworked. Matt asks, do you have any predictions for the Steam Deck launch? For example, do you expect a smooth launch, or will there be hardware or game compatibility issues? Well, as one that is waiting for his patiently to arrive, Mr. Black, do you have any predictions as to how this launch is going to go?
I think it's gonna be fine. I don't.
No hit. Other than delivery, other than supply issues.
I think that'll be the issue.
That's the one. You're not expecting any walls in terms of hardware or software issues.
There might be some obscure games and shit that won't work correctly, but I'm sure it'll serve its purpose.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think that what they're doing is not so wildly outside of the norm for them, and not something that they haven't already sort of done with the Steam boxes back in the day.
Yeah.
That they should, within reason. This should be pretty damn smooth. I'm sure there will be hiccups, but yeah, probably not too bad. Mark Furry, what's your biggest use of your phone?
YouTube.
I'm somewhere between YouTube and Twitter. My two main social media platforms, YouTube and Twitter. I'll pop on, in the spring and summer months, fall months when I'm taking pictures and whatnot, I post onto my Instagram now. But I'm not somebody that goes on Instagram to scroll. I'm not on TikTok. Everything that I would need to see, virally, ends up on Twitter for me anyway. Like if somebody posts literally just the video from TikTok on Twitter, so I don't need to really be keeping up too much over there. But that's YouTube and Twitter are like the two main for sure. And speaking of that, and maybe this is where the question comes from. So yesterday, Samsung announced like the S22 launch date and open pre-orders, and it was also the same day that I saw somebody send out a reminder that, hey, if your phone is from this year, just remember that you are going to stop getting security updates soon. and I had forgotten how long I've had this phone because it works fucking perfectly. I love this phone to death. There's nothing wrong with it. But without security updates, you'd be insane to keep using your phone, because your life is basically on this now. Like everything is on this fucking thing. So discovered that security updates are going to go bye-bye here for my phone pretty soon this year, or changed over to every 6 months, and then it's being nixed entirely. The pandemic really fucked with my timeline. In my head, I've had this phone for like 2 years, but I've had it for 4 instead. So yeah, I'll keep it as a media thing because it's still very useful for that. And again, it works perfectly fine. The battery's fine. There's no hitches, but I gotta get a new one. So they announced the S22 yesterday. They don't make the notes anymore. And once you've used a note with this fucking stylus here, you just don't go back. You can't not have this little motherfucker in your phone once you've done it. And so they've made that the part of the S line. So I picked mine up for pre-order yesterday, and I'll have that. I'm not even excited about it, because when I got this phone, I like legitimately needed it because my other phone died. Like it got bricked. It was dead. I couldn't use it. But with this, it was like, I can't. I'm perfectly happy, but I also need to make sure that I'm secure. One thing I said on Twitter that I'm jealous of iPhone users is that Apple provides security updates for a bajillion years. And so you might not be able to update to the latest version of the software or something like that, but if you don't need that shit and you're just happy using your phone, you're still getting security updates with Apple. It's the one thing that Android fucking blows ass with. So, yeah, it's a pain in the ass. Dr. Samurai, any epic sports stories that you were a part of? Like a last second shot to win or home run in the bottom of the 9th. Gotta reach back into your youth for that one, Mr. Black.
I don't. I don't have any.
Not even any from the Briar Patch back in the day, the old Rock and Country Club? You can't think of anything from back then?
Nothing that stands out, man. I don't. My memory isn't that crisp. It was a long time ago, man. It was a long fucking time ago, bro. Those days were literally 20 years ago.
It's true.
Legit.
It's true.
20.
They're turning all that into housing, by the way. They leveled it here.
Yeah, I saw that.
Entirely. So, man. The 1 year that I played soccer, and it was literally one summer, even though I wasn't the goalie, our goalie was out of position. Kid went to go fucking kick this ball. It was last second. Would have won the game, or would have tied the game up. I laid the body down, saved it. Everyone cheered, and then I never played soccer again because I thought it was boring as fuck.
Hey, you retired. You retired on top, man.
I retired on top at the ripe old age of like 9.
There you go.
Retired on top.
Most people can't say that.
There was one basketball tournament that I played in the finals. It was a back and forth game. It was terrible offensively, just fucking because for whatever reason I needed to be further from the net to be accurate, and this was basketball before they started making big people shoot 3-pointers. So I was better than our point guard at shooting threes back then, but I couldn't do dick under the net unless it was on defense. And specifically in this one match, it was a very close game. Last quarter, real tight, back and forth, and I was just on a tear. And there was one play specifically where I blocked every player on the opposing team in one play. So a guy went up for a shot, blocked it. Ball, I swatted it. So another guy picks it up. He goes for a shot. I run over, I get up, blocked it. Next one, all 5 of them. And then eventually we got the ball. I don't know why the rest of my teammates couldn't be the one to fucking get the ball. Every time I blocked the damn thing, they had 5 attempts. And they fucking failed every one of them. But hey, it happened. I felt real good, because there's only 2 things in basketball that feel really peak. Dunking, which feels incredible, and blocking. That's like the 2 peak feels.
All right,
and so that was it.
I do remember one. All right, it's grade 8. It's grade 8.
Is this going to be you versus fucking?
Nope. This is grade. This is grade 8. And I remember being in gym.
Yep.
And the teacher said, "Hey, why don't you join track and field?"
Oh,
said,
right. Yeah.
I
Okay.
said, "Hey, I'm not really that interested in track and field." They said, "Well, we need runners. Can you run?" I was like, "Yeah,
That's
I can run." I was like,
racist!
"Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I can run." So they said, "All right, come here after school, all right, and we'll make it happen." So I stay there after school, and I do a different tryouts. I tried out throwing the javelin stick. I tried sprinting. I tried
Try like shot put or something like that.
I tried long jump. I tried high jump. I tried all kinds of stuff. I ended up choosing 2. I ended up doing hurdles.
Okay.
And I ended up doing the 1,500 meter
run.
So I train, right? And training goes on for months, right? Couple months or whatever.
That hardcore grade 8 track and field training.
Track and field. So we'd go there during gym or after school. And buses would then like take kids home after the training and shit. And this is true story. So track and field day comes, and it's way out in Sackville, and we have to show up at school in the morning, and then the buses pick us up and they drive us out. So we go to this big track meet, and there's all these different junior high schools, and there was high school, so it was like both. So there's like different age groups. And I do my hurdle, and I remember I didn't warm up. I remember my mom actually packed me a lunch because I remember eating like a sandwich and a bag of chips before I went and ran, or I did my hurdles. I didn't
Bold
stretch.
move.
I didn't stretch or anything. All
Wow.
right, so
wow.
So I basically go down. I do the hurdle, right? I run. I did all right, but then at the very end, I got a big leg cramp. And so I finish.
Unsurprising.
So I finish, and that's fine. So this isn't part of that. That isn't the main epic moment. Here's the epic moment. All right.
Okay.
The 1,500 meter run. It's like it was like it's a long run. Like
it's a 1.5 kilometers. You know,
Yeah,
that's a hefty run.
it's a decent run, right? So I was training pretty much every day running. Even on our street when I'd run around the big loop and different things like that. So I was like, man, I'm ready to go. So the race starts, and we're all off. We start running. 5 minutes goes by. We keep running. More time goes by. We keep running, and then right at the end, I'm gasping. Right, I'm hurting. Okay, I'm out of shape. Right, I'm not. But I'm doing it, and it's down to me and one guy, and we're neck and neck, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna fucking beat this motherfucker. So we're running, and I'm gasping. We're neck and neck, and I managed to get through just before him, and I come in second last place and not last place, baby. Let's go, man. Because I was fighting.
Let's go!
I said to myself, there's no way in fuck I'm coming last place. There was like 24 runners, and it's down to me and some other guy. We're both out of shape. I'm gasping. I'm barely running at this point. I'm like, my arms are flailing like I'm running, but it's more like a power walk, and we're both struggling. I'm like, and I beat him. I was celebrating. I was, yeah, let's go. You know, second last place. Man.
How did last place feel? Was he rattled?
Oh, he was salty, man. He was salty. And we were both gasping. We get at the end, like, it got to the point where we were running. And we're doing it like the big track. So like you
didn't get lapped.
What?
You didn't get lapped, did you?
Oh, you fucking right. I got lapped, bro. Second last place, man. Bro, I got lapped early. I was pretty much finishing my first lap, and the first place dude was running past me, bro. What do you mean? You didn't get lapped, did you? Everybody lapped our asses. It was like me and one other guy down. And him and I, bro, we finished like 3-4 minutes behind everybody. So like,
Oh my God.
so it was like our own private race. Everybody around this little stadium was watching us because like you're on the main thing.
Were they like ironically cheering you on?
No, like nobody was even paying attention to us anymore. We were just out there. Like, you know, people were eating their lunch. You had some high jumpers in the middle of the fucking in the field doing their shit. And I'm sitting there running for my life. Nobody gave a fuck anymore, bro. That was 4 or 5 minutes ago when the race actually stopped. We're sitting there like, you know,
oh my God.
That was epic for me.
Hey,
that was epic.
It was all worth. I thought you were when you said grade 8. I thought you were gonna bring up like
with
you versus
Miss fucking Tracy or whatever her name
Chisholm.
is.
Was it Chisholm?
I think it turned into McDonald. She got married.
Yeah,
like,
she got married. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Oh,
that's my
hell.
epic. That's my epic tale, man. Never did track and field again.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a 10 out of 10. You need to turn that into an animation. You pay somebody to turn that into an animation.
Because I bet you thought it was down to me and him. First and second place.
You sold it. You sold it like a pro.
Hey, no, this was second last place, bro.
And it's not even second last and last. It's like
we got lapped.
4 minutes and lapped.
Yeah, bro, we got fucking lapped, bro. It was just the two of us out there, bro. We were racing each other. There was like, we had no chance. The moment the race started, bro.
They had like people out there like picking up pylons. Like the whole event's already over. You two are still running. They're just cleaning the fucking track up.
Bro, it's not even just that we were running, man. We were struggling. Like we were out there fighting for a life, and nobody gave a fuck. And we were out there just trying to finish, man. I just wanted to finish and not come in last place, and that's what I did. So. That's what's up.
Oh my God. That's fucking incredible. Oh my Lord.
Good times.
That's a good laugh. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Last question comes in from, this is a short podcast this week. This is a rare week where we only had 8 questions. Luke asks, what are some this is a bold question to ask, Luke. What are some tips on investing for beginners? I would like to have some kind of passive income in the future, but know literally nothing about stocks or even where to begin.
All right,
your first mistake was coming here for your very first information.
Buy real estate. There it is. Buy real estate.
You win.
Buy real estate. It's not financial advice, but it's semi-financial advice. Buy real estate. You really can't go wrong with buying real estate.
Hey, I mean, you don't need a lot.
No.
You have like your primary residence and like one other property. And
you're way ahead then. You're way ahead.
You're done.
That's your retirement. You get one property and you hold on to that for 20, 30 years. That's your retirement.
You've made it.
Yeah, you buy a house for $400,000 and 10 years worth $800,000 and 20 years worth $1.2 million. You paid $400 for it, and then you have it rent out the whole time, and you're getting cash flow, and they're paying down your mortgage, and then it's paid off. You want to sell it, then you have probably a $800,000 to $1 million profit. It's really that simple.
That's the easiest. Like you could sit here and be like, oh well, if you look at your portfolio and you do this, that, and the other. Look, should you probably have some of that going on?
Sure.
Yeah, probably. You should just go to a financial advisor for that. Would be the smart move. Go to a couple of different banks, have a couple of you're basically interviewing them to give you them your business, and do some reading of your own outside so you're not getting completely fleeced, and have some of that passively going on in the background, meaning like you're dumping X number of dollars a month into some shit. Make use of you're in Canada, like your TFSAs and your RRSPs and just the basic shit, and then really buy a fucking house. And then pay it off as soon as humanly possible so that you don't pay off hundreds of thousands in interest. And you've already, because if you bought a house and you just said, instead of putting money away into, the market, and you just put all of that into paying your house down as fast as humanly possible, the odds of you as an individual investor being able to make that much money versus the interest that you just saved on the purchase price of your house is slim.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you'll make more putting it in the stock market in a safe index fund or whatever. Once again, it's not financial
Not
advice.
financial advice.
But it is true. Listen, if you have a Roth IRA, which is the version of the TFSA in the U.S., so if you have those and you can contribute $5,000 or $6,000 a year, and if you're in your 30s or 20s, usually you have a bunch of banked up.
You have a pool.
So you have a pool, so you can put in. I mean, if you put your money in that and you buy, a mutual fund or dividend paying stock or whatever, and you throw it in there and you put $5,000 a year, like your return on average is going to be between 7 and 8% a year, because historically throughout the entire stock market you're going to get around 8% if you hold on to it. If you only want to have your money in there for 5 years, you might not make 8%. You might actually make more. You might actually make far less. Just depends on
what did the market do.
COVID hits and everybody loses a shit ton of money, and then they panic and sell, and then they're out a bunch of money, or they just hold on to it or buy the dip, and everything kind of comes back. It's not about timing in the market; it's time in the market.
Yeah.
So if you put a bunch of money into a stock market on S&P 500 stocks, and you get a good diversified mutual fund or whatever, I'm sure you will. I shouldn't say I'm sure, but once again, historically speaking, you'll probably make 7-8% over a 20-30 year period, which theoretically is more than a 3 or 4% mortgage term. But with that being said,
Jeff, I have a question.
Hey, listen, if an extra few points is worth that much to you and you're that savvy, then sure, you go ahead and you put all your money in there. I'm a big proponent of paying off your principal residence, and then with that money, the mortgage that you would have been paying, you can then put that in the stock market aggressively. If your mortgage payment is $1,600 a month and it's paid, then you can just throw $1,600 a month into the stock market, and it'll snowball very quickly, right? Yeah, statistically speaking, you will likely make more money in the market over 20, 30 years than putting it into your principal residence to pay down your own mortgage. But come on,
what feels better than having no mortgage, Mr. Black?
In my opinion, it's the paid off house. Now, if it's an investment, different story, right? You don't want to pay that down because your renters are going to pay that down for you, right? So you're leveraging a 3 or 4% interest rate, and they're paying all of it for you. You need the down payment, but like if you're smart, you're going to make money each month. You want to keep the amount of money you're making in cash flow down, because especially if it's under your name, because it's going to go on your personal income tax, which means you could, if you're at a high tax rate, you'd be paying 50% on your cash flow. If it's in a company, then a different story. But with that being said, if you pay down your rentals too quickly, then you're not using your leverage of the money. So why aggressively pay that down unless that's what you want to do? Listen, there's nothing wrong with paying down your investment portfolio. I know people that what they do is they accumulate a bunch. So they say accumulate 10 properties, and then they'll take all the profits from all of them, and they'll aggressively pay down one, and then they'll take all the profits, and then they'll aggressively pay down two, and then take all of them and do that until they're all paid. And then you're cash flowing, tens of maybe $20,000 a month, which is great. And you live off that. And then there's other investors that will just keep refinancing and keep pulling out money so that you don't have to pay tax on that money. And then they'll just buy more properties. And then they'll literally keep doing that until they die. And then, you can escape. You can basically, it's a game. It's a game. And there's certain things you can do in the States that you can't do here in Canada. Long story short, buy real estate, hold on to real estate if you can, don't sell, and you will make money. Even if you bought at the top, say you bought right now and there was a market crash, which very, very hard to imagine there will be one anytime soon. But even if it went down 20, 30%, it doesn't matter. If you hold on to it, it's going to go back up. And we're all in this. I mean, for me, I'm in this for the long haul. I've been investing in real estate for over 7 years, and I'm now just getting the benefits, the real benefits of holding it's taken that long. And I haven't even really truly got there yet. It's going to take like another 6 or 7 years. But like I said, the 26, 27-year-old Jeff will thank the 40-year-old Jeff, or the 40-year-old Jeff will thank the 26-year-old Jeff a great deal, because yeah, you can make a little bit of money quickly, but the real wealth building is on the hold.
Anything is regardless. Like, I guess the underlying theme here is that regardless of what avenue you go in, hold it. It's go long term. Like the only people not doing that are those that are losing a lot of sleep and all their hair day trading, trying to read the market, which is like a fucking different animal. You hold on to any asset long term. Very, very seldom are you going to do anything but make money on it. So that's like the most core concept. That's and that's,
you can't go wrong with real estate, and it doesn't take a genius to like buy your own house and
live in it. That's basically it. And
if you want to get crazy, then after you're done buying your own house, you go through all that, save up, and buy a rental property. And then just it could be even a single family home. Yeah. And you're going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars likely over a period of time.
Yeah. No, that's the long short of it. Just want to make sure we didn't get any random ones come in. We didn't. That's it. It's a short one, boys and girls.
Because I'm starting to get hungry. I smell food.
Yeah, I haven't eaten lunch, so I guess this is probably a good one. But yeah, it's gonna be it. This episode of Technical Alpha, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself, whether you're here listening to this in real time or on the RSS feeds. Give us a rating of some kind if it exists wherever you consume your podcasts. Pass it on to a friend or three if you think they might enjoy it.
Wait a second. Hard to buy real estate in Vancouver.
We were already done.
Don't buy real estate in Vancouver then. Buy it elsewhere. Move. Stop living in these places that, like, God.
$6 billion houses. The only people making money there already owned property 10 years ago. Everyone else is poor.
If you live in Vancouver, if you live in Toronto, if you live in New York or California, and you're complaining about the price of houses, move. I know it's really inconvenient and you don't want to do it and you got a job and family there, then don't complain. Just, move or rent. I mean, when a house is like $2 million for a fucking 1,800 square foot house, I mean, unless you are making endless amounts of money, how can you afford to enter into that market as an investor? You don't. Then you're probably better off putting your money in the damn stock market. If not, move.
Yeah, it's kind of moving. It is it's fucking hard. I mean, we talked about this too with some family members the other day, where it was like, the realities of where you're setting up shop right now, if you haven't already set up shop somewhere, meaning maybe you're married and you have kids and they're in school and like that, all of that makes it harder and harder as time goes on. But if you're young and you haven't bought property yet and you're looking to buy property in the future, then you have to take a look at where you live and you say, okay, either I need to get into a job and find somebody else, more than likely, who also has a really high-paying job, and then maybe we break into this, and then we're okay. Or you have to move somewhere else. It's kind of just what it is. Like, for example, and you wouldn't be the only ones. For example, Halifax, the stats just came out, was the fastest-growing city in the country in this last year. Yep. We outpaced Montreal, which was second place by 2%. Which, when you're talking about growth, 2% is a lot.
It's because our real estate market here is cheap. I know it's insane to even say, because where we're at right now, but comparatively speaking,
in the grand scheme,
we're still cheap.
With work from home being a thing where people are bringing jobs that they have from Toronto or Vancouver or Alberta, where they're getting paid 40% more than people are getting paid here, And a lot of these people own property already in those other areas from like 7-10 years ago. And so they can take that and bring that money here and buy whatever the fuck they want with as much property they want, with as much fuck you land as they want to fucking have in like the middle of nowhere, like Brock Lesnar type shit, where nobody is 5 fucking miles from you in any direction. You're just alone on an island. You can do that. It won't be that way for very much longer, but at the rate that it's going. But you know, that's kind of like that's just how it is everywhere. And there's nothing else that you can do about it. It sucks balls. It really, the last 2 years for real estate is only good if you already own real estate. For everyone else, regardless if you're here in Halifax or you're in Vancouver, it blows ass for everyone because it went up nearly 100% in some zones in only 2 years. So unless you already had the property, yikes. And for everyone else, now and that's why Halifax is booming, is because everyone looks at it and goes, hey, 1/3 the property price. Let's go there. That's kind of it. Yep. It's kind of what it is. It's really, really, really challenging, and it's not going to get better anytime soon. So if you've been thinking about it, and this ain't financial advice, but if you've been thinking about it, it's life advice. Do it younger than older.
Yep.
Because it'll be easier.
Yeah, as soon as you can, if it makes sense. If it makes sense, do it.
You know what else makes sense? Going to get some food. It's another Technology Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you once again for stopping by. It's a great pleasure to be here as always. We'll see you guys next week. And until then, stay safe out there and peace.
Peace.